If you go into any car park today, the electric car stands out. And why does it stand out? Because the designers of electric cars make sure that their product is unique from the time you look at it until you get inside it. And I will show you why when I have a walk around with this new product from China. So this is the Zeekr X. Zeekr, you can see the logo here. Come to the back. And you'll see the X. To confirm it, the Zeekr name is here. But before we go into all that, let us take you on a journey with Zeekr. So just like its sibling, the Smart #3 and the Volvo EX30, this electric car, Zeekr X, is quick. It's very quick. 5.6 seconds, 0 to 100. No hesitation in power delivery. Now remember, this is the single motor version. The twin motor will be even faster like the EX30. But this is a single motor. And listen, 5.6 seconds is fast enough. You got nothing lacking. 5.6 seconds. Okay? Now, it has that crossover look, that crossover vibe, you know, and yet it drives like a hot hatch, which is exactly like the EX30. So what Zeekr has done is, Zeekr has made sure that they've delivered a car, a crossover, that has the stance and the look like a crossover simply because people want something like this. People like that whole crossover look. But in reality, it is a hot hatch. It's a big hot hatch. And you know and I know that today, even the Japanese hot hatches, the European hot hatches, they've all grown in size. Because why? People want bigger vehicles, yet they want that whole hot hatch look and feel. So this Zeekr X comes into the market, single motor version. Prices start from 180,000 ringgit. You get a nice big screen, very important. You get a smaller screen in front of the driver, very vital information. You get this nice look and feel steering wheel. And you'll notice that the interior of this car is animal free. And when I use the word animal free, what I mean is everything feels like leather, feels premium, but it's not. So they're following the same language, the same mindset as Volvo, not to use animal hide. So everything is either recycled material or repurposed material, but you have a nice touch and feel all around the cabin. Even this textured material here, you know, on the door panels, everything feels really nice to the touch. And this is important. You get very comfortable seats. So if you think about it, if nobody tells you, you will think you're sitting on leather seats. So that's the beauty of new generation electric cars. They're coming with all these fantastic ideas, this fantastic use of materials that they say is eco-friendly like the vehicle. Because why? It's not using any petrol. It's just using battery power, which comes from the electricity grid, which comes from coal power mines, coal power fired factories and plants, you know. So is it eco-friendly? Anyway, that's for another day, another topic for another day. Right now, whether it's coal powered or whatever, you charge your Zeekr or any electric car and you get really good driving distance. Now, why I say really good? Because this car will deliver up to 440 kilometers of driving distance. And when you're sitting in traffic like this, you might be worried because the aircon is running, the sound system is running. I'll come back to the sound system in a bit. And you're thinking how much battery power is using. Actually, when you're sitting idle, it doesn't use a lot of power. When you're cruising in traffic like this, when you're just, doodling along, doesn't use a lot of power. When does it use a lot of power? When you hammer the throttle. When you try and get that 0 to 100 acceleration time, or you're just being silly on the road, that's when you get a lot of battery power being used up. So if you're driving lethargically, cruising like this, heavy traffic, look at that. Don't worry too much about battery usage. Of course, you have to look at the screen, just like how when you look for your fuel to see how much you got left. So we've got like 36% left. That is not bad. It'll take us where we need to go for our charging. Now, if you want to interact with the vehicle, everything is in the screen. To adjust the aircon vents, you know, to work your stereo system, your aircon controls, side view mirror controls, everything is on the screen. It is not difficult to use. You got a lot of shortcuts here. Easily you can, work it out. Or you can go into the system and see what you want. But the problem is, you shouldn't do this while you're driving. You see, like just now I was driving and I keep looking down to look at the screen. This is not a good idea. But manufacturers are saying once you get used to the screen, you don't have to look down so much. But I've been driving a lot of electric cars and I keep looking down on the screen simply because I can't memorize all this. So if I'm owning the car, I'll probably memorize it. But even if you memorize it, it's better to have physical buttons, in my opinion, simply because then you can feel your way through. Now I'm at a traffic light, I can easily pick what I want to use and use it safely. You've got navigation, you've even got a camera, a full-time camera in the car, which you can do a recording. So you don't need a DVD recorder, you don't have to go and get an aftermarket one. It'll record for you video, you can take a photo, you can put it on a timer. So, the thing is with electric cars, they got so many of these interesting features that make it very desirable for the consumer. Even the door handle, look at the door handle, it's a button. You press it and push. So different. Look at this. You might think this is, some button to use. Actually, it's just a little lever for you to put your tapao packet here and let it hang down here. You got cup holders, you got your phone charging here. Now, when you put your phone inside, there's a little sponge inside here that actually grabs it. And by grabbing it means you can lift this up and down and you can still keep your phone charging, which doesn't happen with a lot of other vehicles on sale today. So all these little features that they've thought about makes a lot of difference in the ownership of an electric car. Back to the sound system. Yamaha produced sound system. Now, a lot of you who are not, sound enthusiasts will be thinking, Yamaha makes motorcycles, right? And maybe diesel generators and outboard motors. Well, they've been doing sound systems for years. I used to have a Yamaha amp 30 years ago, home system. So, Yamaha actually builds sound system and they build very good sound system. This has got 13 speakers, 1-3. Now, I've driven a lot of electric cars. They all come with very good sound system. I've been driving even Geely produced electric cars like from Smart and the new Yamaha 7 from Proton Geely partnership, the Volvo EX30. But this Yamaha sound system stands out just a little bit more, just a little bit better. It feels so much nicer. Now I'm on an open road, mid-range acceleration, look at that, effortless. This is one of the big intoxicating feeling that consumers have when they take a car like this on a test drive. That is why a lot of people, when they buy electric cars, they brag about their 0 to 100 acceleration time and their mid-range torque because it's intoxicating. And then look at this, look at how it handles. I'm riding on 18-inch wheels, 55 series, 235 mm width. Now, those are big wheels, not low profile, 55. But you see, with this kind of wheels, you don't feel the car wavering at all. You don't feel this Zeekr X, losing its composure. Now, the next important thing to understand, a car like this comes with a lot of safety features, a lot of bells and whistles. Now, when I say bells and whistles, I'm talking more about bells. Because why? Every time you try and, change the lane without using a signal, or if you go too close to a vehicle or a vehicle comes close to you, there is something warning you all the time. Same with all the other electric cars in the market right now. The tech in these cars are just amazing. Amazing. Okay? I cannot emphasize the word amazing even more. Because why? It is next generation tech. And a lot of the software that you see in here is still being further developed, but they will sell you the car with the software, and as you move along, they will do over-the-air updates. So they say take the car first. If you have any problems, don't worry. There's an over-the-air update coming next week or next month or whatever. So it's constantly being improved. It's constantly being upgraded. So you might get some irritating little niggles. Don't worry, it won't collapse on you, but you'll get some niggles, but it is solved very quickly. And this is the beauty about this kind of new cars from China, because they're basically like a smartphone on wheels. People say it all the time. I'm saying it again. So you know that they're going to be upgrading it as you move along. Steering feel, nice, not great. Because why? It's completely computer powered. There is no, performance car steering feel, which is what electric cars lack right now. But you can't run away from that. It'll take maybe another couple of generations, or maybe even one generation, when they'll sort that problem out. Because why? We are so used to getting, petrol-powered sport sedans. I mean, when you talk about power like this, coming from petrol-powered sport sedans that have very good steering feel. But these cars will evolve. Maybe not this generation, maybe the next generation. And you must understand, when they evolve in a very, very short time. Not 6-7 years. You're looking at 2, 3, maybe even a year. Then you've got this little buttons here. Now this button on the right, this little knob here on the right, if you click, you can do some necessary functions like your radio, your aircon control, you can control it. So even though you're not so happy with the software system, they've allowed you a little button here to do something that you really need done, So next, it's time for us to give you a quick walk around of this Zeekr X. What it's all about from the front to the rear. In a few minutes, we'll stop and we'll get going on that. Zeekr is a product from the Geely company. Now, if you know the Geely company, you'll know that they are in partnership with Proton, they own Volvo, they own Smart, they own Polestar, and being such a big company, they will share a lot of their technology and products. So the Zeekr X is an electric car that shares its platform with the Volvo EX30. We have test driven the Volvo EX30. You've seen our review on YouTube. If you're not, please go and have a look at it. I think it's a very comprehensive review. Now, if you see that review, the one we test drove, the Volvo we test drove, was a twin motor version. Now this Zeekr X comes with a single motor or a twin motor. What we're test driving here is the single motor, which the Volvo EX30 also shares. So everything underneath is very similar to the Volvo EX30 and another sibling, Smart #3, which means you get the same motor, the same battery system, the battery management system. You just get a different design, different cabin experience, different interface in the cabin, and maybe, the driving experience might be a little bit different. Maybe. But it's very hard to tell because all of them are fast, all of them are, they're just nice to drive. Because why? They're electric cars, they're quick. So, this car comes as a single motor version. So single motor means it's a rear wheel drive, not a front wheel drive, it's a rear wheel drive. This vehicle will actually do 0 to 100 in 5.6 seconds and is using a 200 kilowatt motor with a 66 kilowatt an hour battery pack. The Zeekr X, we talked about, is very interesting design language, crossover, black top, black wheel arches, black bottom to give it a crossover look, but it's all shiny black, so it's not really a crossover. It gives you the crossover look, but it's a hot hatch. I'm sorry, Zeekr designers, I think it's a hot hatch because it looks like a hot hatch. Take away that black trim that you might have around the vehicle and wheel arches, it's a hot hatch. But let's not argue about design language and who's right or who's wrong. Just my opinion, DSF opinion. What is interesting is the flush door handles. Now, a lot of electric cars have flush door handles, but this one is very different. They have gone one step away, left or right, to make it different. It falls inwards. You just put your hand in and you pull it ever so gently. So Zeekr has done this to be different. And it's pillarless. Nice pillarless doors. Beautifully crafted interior. We already talked about it earlier. We'll talk about it some more. But this is how they've made this car very, very unique. Now, if I'm going to get in, I'm 5'6" and a bit, you know that. More than enough space. Aircon vent here. It's got that whole, how would you say, premium, posh look and feel. From the textured material at the back of the seat to the nice headrest. I can slide across. So 3 of us at the back, not a problem. Lights. Full panoramic roof. 99% UV resistant. But it still will get a little bit hot because this is Malaysia. When it's hot, it's hot. Yamaha sound system, like we mentioned earlier. To open the door, press and push. Something different again. So Zeekr wants to say, hey, my car is unique. My car is not like the Volvo EX30 and the smart #3. Even the little coat hanger here is unique. Look at the color they use. It's like a rose gold. Same with the door button and the Yamaha speaker up here. So Zeekr is trying to say, hey, we are different. Come to our showroom. Take us for a test drive. We are different. Now, go to the back of the vehicle. The Zeekr name is clearly stated here. Now, with most cars, I think nearly every car we've test driven in the last few years, to open the back hatch, you got to find a little button here, or you got to wave your leg. Now with Zeekr, they've gone very different, and I like this feature. Why I like it? Because it makes so much sense for the user. The button is up here. Now, why didn't someone else think about it? I'm going to show it you again. The button is up here. So now you see the boot space. You got a cover, very important. Sadly, a lot of electric cars today have very small boots. This boot is not large. A suitcase will not fit in. A small bag, overnight bag, couple of duffel bags, yes. You got some space here. Your charging cable is there. If you don't have your charging cable in here, then maybe you can put some extra luggage in here. But all in all, if you've got 4 passengers in the car going for a weekend away, you're going to have a little bit of problem trying to fit all the luggage. They have to travel light, and I think preferred beach holiday, so you get as little clothes as possible. If you're going for a winter holiday, I think it's going to be difficult to fit all that there. Now, as you saw earlier, there's a very nice light show here. Let me show it to you when we shut the car down and walk away. We walk away, the car will shut down. Keep your eye on the light show at the back. And then when we approach the car, there's another light show. So as you can see, they've made it very interesting for people around to have a look at this car. Now, you got, like I said, this black trim, shiny black trim, which says, hey, hot hatch, not crossover. Come to the side of the vehicle here. Confirmation that this is a Zeekr product. Closer look. So, Geely is the parent company. Steering wheel, almost flat top, flat bottom. Comfortable seats. Get into it and you'll understand what I mean by comfortable. It's soft. A lot of cars don't have this kind of softness in the seats. So it's comfortable, it's easy to drive, easy to live with on a long distance. Can you see the textured fit and finish here? All very premium looking. Now all this lights up at night, not bright, just a little bit, but it lights up at night. So it gives you that very nice cabin experience. Even the top of the dashboard, there's a light bar here. All this just adds to the visual appeal of the Zeekr X inside and outside. Come to the front. As you can see, the big wheels and tires. Headlamp is here. These are signal lamps. The badge, lower bottom, again, shiny black material. You've got a very pronounced hood here, very muscular looking. The arches flow nicely. You got this side view mirrors sticking out a little bit, not joined to the body or to the side quarter glass. All this to give it a very crossover look. I keep using the word crossover look because I think it's still not really a crossover in my understanding or my evaluation of this vehicle. But it's a good looking vehicle. We like it. We like driving it. The single motor version, rear wheel driven, price starts from about 180,000 ringgit. Showrooms are operational. You can go in and test drive. Take it for test drive. Enjoy the Yamaha sound system and then make a decision.